You're listening to the Fierce Valley Podcast, episode 105. Eye-rolling misconceptions about fat positivity. Let's do it.
Perfect.
I'm Victoria Wellesby, TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and fat activist. I have transformed my life from hating my body with desperately low self-esteem to being a courageous and confident, fierce fatty who loves every inch of this jelly. Society teaches us living in a fat body is bad, but what if we spent less time, money, and energy on the pursuit of thinness and instead focused on the things that actually matter, like if pineapple on pizza should be outlawed, or if the mullet was the greatest haircut of the 20th century. So, how do you stop negative beliefs about your fat body controlling your life? It's the Fierce Fatty Podcast. Let's begin. Hello, rat bastards. Hello, fierce fatties. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Or if you are from North America, thanks for tuning in. Because you say it like tune. Yeah. Anyway. Guess what? Who has a date tonight? Oh, this bitch over here has a date tonight. It's my first date since coming back to Vancouver in the January, and it's what is it, November now? Oh, it only took me 11 months. Actually, you know what? Because I've been very willy-nilly about this whole dating thing, and I bought Cupid Premium. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? Premium, oh my God, I'm going to be like VIP. I'm going to be able to do everything. It's so fucking expensive. Okay, so it's like $160 US. It was like, whatever it was 180 Canadian, right? For 6 months. Which, you know, if I get a few dicks out of that, some sex out of that, maybe a partner, it's worth it, right? But then I was like, ooh, I can't wait to use all these premium features. But if you buy premium, all you get from it is being able to look at who likes you. Nothing else. Like, there's this boost thing where you can like boost your profile, or you can read receipt, or you can there's so many different things. So it was like things popping up like, do you want to do this? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'll turn on read receipt. Oh yeah, I'll boost. And it's like boost was like for 24 hours. $80. I was like, what? The cheek of it. Excuse me, I'm premium here. I've paid you my $180. Give me the shit, but no. So anyway, I've got a date, a virtual date. I've decided I want to do a virtual date. You know what? I was like, it's been a couple of years since I've been on a date. And so I'm going to ease myself in. You remember I talk about how you need to tinkle your toes in the water. Don't jump into the deep end because deep end can be traumatizing. And so this is me tinkling my toes. So I've been chatting to some suitors over OkCupid for a couple of weeks, and maybe a week, and now I suggested to someone, hey, do you want to do what? Because he suggested doing a in-person thing, and I was like, hey, do you want to just have a quick phone call? And then I said, do you want to make it like a Zoom call so we can, see each other and read our body language? And he said, yes. I said to another guy who asked me out on a date, I said, hey, let's do a quick call beforehand. And he was like, no, I like it in person, which is fine, whatever. But, there was something about that I was like, listen, this is like, building up trust. And it's not like I'm asking you to, I don't know, do something really weird. It's just having a chat on the phone. So I don't want to. Like pre-panini times, I feel like I don't want to commit to having to put on trousers and running a comb through my hair if the person's a bozo, right? Like if I turn up and I'm like, oh God, who is this? Why, what? And this one guy, he wasn't that talkative, and I think there was a language barrier, and so I was like, whatever, it's a language barrier, so let's talk, so that on the date I know that we're able to get on with each other and all that type of stuff. And he was just like, no, and I was like, okay, whatever, can't be bothered with that. But yeah, so I'm gonna have a virtual date at 6:30. Have my dinner before that. It's 3:15 now, so 3 hours I'm gonna be getting ready to have a date. I do feel a little bit nervous, but you know what, it's fine. I can talk to anyone, literally. And if he's a complete freak or whatever, as when I say freak, I mean like being a creep and slimy or whatever, I can just hang up the phone, hang up the Zoom, and see what hello there. So yeah. Also, another update: I don't have COVID. Woo! Yeah. So pleased about that. I was really convinced that I did. You know what? I was like, oh yeah, these symptoms are getting worse. Oh yeah, I think I do. But I don't, so that's good. That's good. Hey! I was going to tell you last week, but I forgot to say. Be on the lookout for one of. I'm not going to name names. Okay, I'm not going to. Although I do like a bit of a gossip, but I don't. I like watching other people's drama and gossip, and silently, silently watching 4 hours of stories to see what the gossip is. But I don't want to start anything. But I want you to be aware of who you're following in the fat positive, body positive, anti-diet space, and make sure that those your favorites, like the people that you're going to be giving money to or whatever, aren't secret right-wingers. There is it's just one person. There is one person who is one of the most famous people in this space who has been sharing some choice anti-vax messages, and then playing it off being like, oh, I'm joking, and then comparing being a mask of vaccine mandates to Nazis. Fucked up, so fucked up, and then being like chill, and then doing a little bit of like rape denying, saying victims are lying, and lordy, I think she's pretty much got away with it. And anyway, I'm like, went to her account, and here's a good way to find this stuff out, because if they share a meme here or there, and you're like, a lot of the times you don't know, because you look at the meme and you're like, what does that mean? Is a little bit the message is kind of a little bit hidden, and so it can be interpreted maybe different ways. And I'm always like, I'll give someone a benefit of the doubt within reason. And so a great way to see what's going on with them is to see who they're following. Now, sometimes, some people might follow certain people because they want to keep tabs on them, and I don't know, they don't like them, but there was a definite pattern here with this person. I went and actually I text Summer Inanen, who's my friend, another. She is a body image coach, and I text her, because we were talking about this, and so I text her and I said, oh my God, this person, I just looked at who they follow, and this is the text. Accounts include Flat Earth, Pro-Gun, American flag products, which is not wrong in itself, American flag, whatever, it's just a flag, but a lot of times flags, American flag, and the British flag denotes racism. Anyway, American flag products, and InfoWars star. So InfoWars is a right-wing, can't remember what is his name. Anyway, he's just a fucking piece of shit, whoever hosts that. Pro-Trump accounts, anti-vaccine, a diet account, anti-trans, anti-immigrant, right-wingers. It's fucked. And that's just the first 20 accounts that I looked at. So go and look at your favorite thin white anti-diet accounts, and see if they're secretly hiding. Well, not so secretly. They've outed themselves, right, with the posts. But I find it so interesting. I find it so interesting how easily we're sucked into these types of things, because this is someone who is pro-science, right? This is someone who is about fat liberation, body liberation, all that type of stuff, and somehow that's moved into being a flat earther, a conspiracy theorist, a fucking QAnon, and anti-trans, anti-immigrants, anti-vaccine, pro-Trump, pro-gun, all that. And it's very surprising. It's very surprising to me. And I find it fascinating how that happens. And I know there's like there's lots of, what is it, the wellness to QAnon pipeline, and there's a very clear way that people kind of can start to get extreme. And I don't even think, like, because if you think about extremeness in fat positivity, I can't see how that would lead to right-wing stuff. I don't know. But anyway, just keep your money to yourself. If try not to be giving it to secret fucking people who've got these wild ass views. So anyway, so I've been doing lots of research on weight bias training. Oh, oh, I'm mad. I am so mad about it. I've been doing this, like, having a looky-loo at weight bias training, seeing what's out there. And so it makes me so fucking mad. It makes me so mad. I was just yesterday, I was looking at, okay, there's this weight bias training that all of British Columbia and in Vancouver, BC, Canada, all of BC healthcare providers can go through. It's weight bias training. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. It's free. You can go through. I won't tell you the name of it because it's just fucking awful. It's so awful. Oh my God. Oh, where do I start? Oh, okay. Okay, actually, I'm going to get a clip inserted in here.
Well, what do we have here?
He burned his hand on a stove.
Did you warn him not to touch a hot stove?
Of course I did.
Well, I'm afraid we can't help him. Clearly he did this to himself.
That's absurd, isn't it? That a doctor would compromise care for a patient because he did it to himself. But unfortunately, overweight and obese people are the victims of this kind of irrational weight prejudice almost every day.
So basically, the whole idea of all the training is don't be mean to fat people. They can't help that they're fat. We have to tell them to lose weight nicely. Don't be mean about it. Oh, and of course they use the O words and all over. All of it is created by thin people. They have a fat presenter. I was just like, oh, I'm surprised that they have a fat presenter. But I was looking at the people who created it, and from the kind of the heads of the people who created it, they're all thin white people, obviously. And it's all about how, when you weigh your patients, maybe weigh them in a private area and tell them that they are a fat fucking loser and need to lose weight. Don't do it in public because we want to be nice about it. Come on, girls, we need to be nice about it. And oh my God. And there was one, it was like, a teenage boy, they did like role plays. recreations of role plays or whatever. Teenage boy goes in and is like, you know what, I'm just really, really lethargic. There's something wrong. You know, I'm la 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 la. And the doctor is like, okay, so you're clearly O-word. And so what do you eat? And how do you exercise? And the guy was like, oh, you know, I just, you know, whatever, eat food. And actually I'm on this sports team or whatever. And so they were like, this is a great way to do it, because you're asking what they eat and what they, you tell them, oh, you're clearly fat. And what do you eat, fatty? How much do you exercise, you loser? And then saying, okay, well, come back when you've exercised and eaten less, exercise more, eaten less, and we'll check you out again. And so there was nothing. That was it. It was like, this is how you do it. And it was like, hang on a minute. He said he was like, there's something wrong with him. He was just like, oh, he's fat. Therefore, that's why he's sick. And he was like this 16-year-old, like very slightly chubby kid. Like, oh my God, it was so bad. It just makes me enraged that people go through this training and they're just like, their view of fat people, it's made worse. Like, oh, don't talk about weight around the fatties, because they get really upset, because, you know, it's just in their nature, right? Fat people are sensitive losers, and listen, we've got to help them try and lose weight. We just have to be nice about it. But they can't help it, bless them. They've tried, but, we all know the answer is just to exercise more and eat less, and these fucking idiots can't do it. And so we have to be nice about it. Like, that was the whole thing. I was like, what the fuck? And so much of this weight bias training that I've looked at, is using the O words, which, you know, that's to begin with. And that's like, that to me, like, that's the biggest clue. Are they using O words? Are they saying it's not the fat people's fault? Is that the whole thing? It's not the fat people's fault, and assuming that fat people are fat because of what they eat and how they exercise. And then the whole thing is just be nicer. When, you know, if you're a receptionist, don't laugh in their face, laugh behind their backs. It's like, oh, yeah. And I was reading this paper from Rachel Fox. What is it called? Let me tell you what it's called. All right, working towards, is this the right one? Yeah, working towards eradicating weight stigma by combating pathologizing. Pathologization. Oh, for fuck's sake, pathologization. Jesus! A qualitative pilot study using direct contact and narrative medicine. So, Rachel Fox was one of the people who wrote this paper. I'll link to it in the show notes, saying how the way that we educate on weight bias is doesn't help. It doesn't reduce weight bias. And so do you know what the way that people have educated on fat phobia before? They've got people to wear fat suits and then go out in public for like an hour and be like, hey, do you feel more empathetic towards people because you wore a fat suit? And then people are like, oh yeah, I looked minging when I was disgusting. I was gross looking when I was fat. So yeah, I've got more empathy for fat people because they're gross. And telling people about, saying to people, listen, people can't control their weights. That doesn't reduce stigma. And what Rachel Fox and company have shown is that they did this. They got fat people in. It was only a small study, but it was interesting results. They got fat people to come in for 5 weeks, and then they got medical students to come in too, and they discussed pieces of work, actually, like a poem, some art pieces made by fat people, an excerpt from one of Roxane Gay's book, and an article as well. And so they got them to read that, and then they got them to do a writing piece on a separate question, which is kind of like, Tell me a time that you felt loved. And then they discussed it in a group. And so they weren't talking about like, it's different, right? It's different. And, one of the questions was like, name a time that you've experienced fat phobia or seen fat phobia. And so medical students were like, oh yeah, I saw it when this fat person experienced that because they're all straight size. And then the fat people can say, oh, actually they experienced, and it grew actual empathy, and their weight bias at the end was reduced. And the fat participants got a really good sense of well-being and happiness that they were able to connect and change the minds of these medical students. And I just feel so hopeful about the younger generation and students learning, moving into these professions, because they're so much more open. And especially, people if you've been told a message for all of your life and it's in your profession and you've told hundreds, thousands, countless people to lose weight and weight is death and all that type of stuff, to be able to turn that belief around is so fucking difficult, isn't it? Can you imagine? So I think, for people who've been practicing in the healthcare profession for longer, it's a lot harder. And so that was really cool to see. I really enjoyed that. So anyway, yeah, let's talk about what we're here to talk about. God, this rambling introduction has been 20 minutes. I'm sorry. And all this interesting stuff that I'm talking about, isn't it? You're like, no, shut up. Get on with it. Okay, so let's talk about, can you be fat positive and also diet? So first off, let me tell you what, fat positive, fat acceptance is. Let me tell you, this is a little quote from Wikipedia. So, quote, the fat acceptance movement, also known as fat pride, fat empowerment, and fat activism, is a social movement seeking to change anti-fat bias in social attitudes by raising awareness about obstacles faced by fat persons for the general public. Areas of contention include the aesthetic, legal, and medical approaches to people whose bodies are fatter than the social norm. The modern fat acceptance movement began in the late 1960s. Besides its political role, the fat acceptance movement also constitutes a subculture which acts as a social group for its members. Just a little definition for you there. And the history of fat acceptance goes back to 1967, when 500 people met in New York Central Park to protest against fat phobia. So, quote, sociologist Charlotte Cooper has argued that the history of the fat activist movement is best understood in waves similar to the feminist movement, with which she believes it is closely tied. So if we keep that in mind about what fat acceptance is, it's basically saying, hey everybody, fat people are people, let's maybe not discriminate against fat people, and fat people have the same should have the same basic rights as straight size people, and a lot of people hear fat positivity and they hear something else. So the first off is kind of eye-rolling misconceptions about fat positivity or body positivity or anything to do with this kind of area. Is the first thing is that it's all about slagging off straight size people. So it's all about making fun of straight size people. It's all about straight size people. It is not about straight size people. It is about fat people and the way that society treats fat people. So I see a lot of people getting confused about this, and people who are well-meaning sharing things like real women have curves, or laughing at the fact that Donald Trump is fat, or only dogs like bones. Like posts that are sharing the idea that it's better to be fat. Fat positivity is not saying fat people are better. It's saying, hey, can we have the same access? Maybe? Is that okay? Can we be treated like humans? It's not saying that fat people are better. But fat people are pretty fucking amazing. Some of them aren't, aka Donald Trump. But, that's not what it's about. It's not about slagging off thin people and saying thin people are ugly. Fat people are beautiful. It's not about aesthetics. It's not about saying fat people are worthy because thin people are ugly. You remember a few weeks ago I was saying about some guy I was texting on the dating apps, and I said, oh hey, just checking you're fat positive, and he was like, yeah, I'm fat positive because I'm fat. And I was like, well, that doesn't make you fat positive. And he says, yeah, because I think that thin women are disgusting. And I was like, oh, excuse me. No. And so that's not what it's about, right? Yeah. And the same as well, another misconception is that fat positivity or body positivity is all about loving your body. And that is the goal of it, is to love your body. The goal of it is liberation for fat people. In my opinion, the ability to accept your body and even love your body is a wonderful thing that is going to make fat activism and fat liberation a billion times easier. Easier in the regards that if you think that you're disgusting and that you're unattractive and should lose weight and all that type of stuff, it's harder to fight for your rights if you believe those things about yourself, right? Whereas if you think that you don't have to love yourself, but if you think that you are a worthy human being and you deserve love and acceptance and all that type of stuff, it's easier to fight the fight when you're on board with it yourself. Not saying that you have to be, and that's not what fat positivity or body positivity is about. It's about the liberation of fat bodies. Another misconception is that, this is a lot of times it comes from trolls, is that fat positivity is all about giving up on your health and actively pursuing the goal of being unhealthy. It's got no. No. So it's not giving up on your health. It's not about health. It's it's about access, which will improve health, because then fat people will be able to get medical care which is equal to straight size people, right? And so, I would argue that if anything, it's not about health, but if anything, it would be pro health, because we're not pursuing weight loss. We're not pursuing something that is really detrimental towards our health. We are pursuing things that are positive for our mental and physical health. So, yeah. And I think a lot of times, if fat people are not chastising themselves, if they're not self-flagellating, if they're not saying, I know I need to lose weight, I know it's unhealthy to be fat, I know that I'm a piece of shit, then people are like, oh, well, you were just trying to be unhealthy. Just before I came on here, actually, this fucking gets on my tits. I shared a post on Instagram, I'll tell you it later, but this thin white dietitian who is anti-diet says, oh, Victoria made a post. She is great. At first, she was like fucking misgendering me all over the shop. And now Victoria loves me so much she doesn't know my gender. She made this post and it was great. But someone commented saying, we don't owe anyone health. And I don't agree with that. Don't we owe ourselves health? Don't we, don't we owe it to ourselves to journal every day? Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? What has that got to do with anything? Like, I'm just speechless. Like, no. Like, what it is, it's not, you owe yourself health. That's just like a red herring. It's not what we're saying. We're saying that you don't need to be healthy to be worthy. We're saying that health is a incredibly complex concept. We're saying that health is mostly out of our control. And, If you want to pursue health promoting behaviors, great. If you don't, great. Neither makes you morally inferior or superior. And if you were concerned about health at a population level and an individual level, you wouldn't be saying, don't we owe it to ourselves to be healthy? Because you know how shaming and stigmatizing that is. Because you wouldn't be telling people, you need to journal. If you cared about yourself, you would journal. And she said, listen, you don't even have to get out a pen and paper. You can just do like an audio note. What the fuck are you talking about? How is that like, what? Why are you berating people if they don't journal? How is that health promoting? I get it, like journaling could be good for someone, but I mean, telling someone that they should be looking after their health by journaling. And I think she thought she was being very forward thinking by saying, not mentioning food and exercise. She was being forward thinking by mentioning, she said, sleep and journaling. Yeah, so if you're really concerned about health, you would be looking at social justice issues. You'd be looking at environmental issues. You would be looking at all the different things that make up individual health. Only 36% of it is individual behavior. And inside that, 36% is things like access to guns, sleep, food, and movement is in there. And there's one more, I can't remember what it is, 6 different things. Anyway. Yeah, and it's kind of like defining health as this one little thing. It's one little thing, which is journaling or not, or something that you can just decide, you know, like, do you owe yourself engaging in behaviors that some thin white dietitian has said is good for you on Instagram if that induces shame and sadness, negative emotions? Like, is that then health promoting, or is that just a lot of all the same shit? It's a lot of all the same shit. So next, a lot of people think that fat positivity or body positivity is because you should love your body, is what they think. Then you should be wearing a bikini all the time. You should never wear makeup. You shouldn't present yourself in you should be just like wearing the plainest clothes possible, which is absolutely the weirdest logic. When I was on that BBC show, poor Courtney, who is an absolute wonderful person, people were criticising her, she's fat positive, because she likes makeup and because she has blue, wicked hair. They're like, oh, how can you be body positive if you wear makeup? Clearly you don't love yourself if you wear makeup. It's like, what the how people get like this one thing and then make it into this other thing. It's just absolutely wild to me. Wearing makeup or modifying your body or whatever you want to do with your body doesn't mean that you don't then think that fat people should be treated like people. It means that you like doing those things. It means that makeup is fun. It means that having blue hair is fun. It means that piercing your nipple brings you joy, you know, whatever it is. You know, it's nothing to do with the other. So with all that in mind, answering the question, can we be fat positive, body positive, and diet? So you notice that I'm using the word body positive and fat positive, in case you haven't heard other episodes about kind of the difference between fat positivity and body positivity. Body positivity, the term was coined in the 1990s, and it was basically fat positivity, fat liberation, fat activism, just with a different name. And it's, you know, same tenets. And then recently, in the last kind of 10 years, people have shied away from saying fat liberation, fat positivity, all that type of stuff, because they don't want to be associated with fat people, and they just want to say, oh, I'm body positive, so that means I love my body. And it's not about loving your body, it's about politics and saying that fat people should have rights. Same thing I've been saying all along. And so a lot of fat people are like, oh, for fuck's sake, something that the thins have taken from us. All right, thins, you have it. So straight size people have basically co-opted it, which is, you know, whatever, that happens, and made it, taken all of the radical ideas out of it and just made it about being thin and making your body into a pretzel so that you can say, oh my God, I've got a tiny little bit of fat on my tummy. So I don't really identify as being body positive. Like if someone said, are you? I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But, because it feels a bit milquetoast. It feels a bit fluffy and boring to me. Whereas fat positivity feels radical. Because, a lot of people are like, yeah, body positive, love it. And then if a fat person says body positive, they're like, ew, gross, not you. Only the attractive people can be body positive, So, can you be body positive, fat positive, and diet? So when I say this, I'm talking about, when we say diet, I'm talking about intentionally losing weight. So people's bodies change all the time. People lose weight, gain weight, whatever, for many different reasons. They could be sick, they could be suffering from grief, they could be depressed, they could just be busier than normal, and there's a million different reasons why people might lose weight, and a billion different reasons why people might gain weight, and that is unintentional, as in you're not like, right, okay, I'm going to lose weight. People who unintentionally lose weight or gain weight, it's just being a body, it's just having a body, right? It's just having a human body. It's just normal. What we're talking about here is people who are like, right, okay, I want to lose weight, and I'm going to lose weight, and la 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 la. There's two different schools of thought on this. The first is dieting to intentionally lose weight is not aligned with fat positivity, because it means that you think there should be less fat bodies in the world. As you are raising potentially your own fat body, you're trying to make yourself less fat, appear less fat. And it means that you buy into the lies that diet culture perpetuates, including lies about fat and health and fat and worth. And theoretically, it means that you reject the science, weight science, and you buy into faulty science. And it means that maybe you're increasing stigma and marginalization of fat bodies, because people around you will be affected by your negative beliefs about fat bodies and your pro-diet stance. So you are unintentionally harming fat people and straight-sized people, because straight-sized people suffer from the effects of fat phobia too. So you can, of course, lose weight if you want to. You can do whatever you want with your body. And this school of thought is saying, you can do what you want with your body. Who fucking cares? It's your body. It's not anything to do with anyone else. But can you say, I believe in diets, I support diets, I think diets work, and I think they're good, and I think fat bodies are bad, but I also believe in fat liberation? Well, it's like two separate things, right? They're two different things. And fat liberation isn't about saying that people can't be thin, or people shouldn't be thin. Again, it's about saying that fat people are human, right? And so it just doesn't seem aligned, does it? If you know what fat positivity is, or what body positivity is. And a lot of people say, well, if you love your body, then you would love it enough to lose weight. Well, it's like, that's anti-science. It's an anti-science stance, because we know that there is no way to lose weight. But if you're attempting to lose weight, you believe that there is, or you wouldn't be bothering. Is this, stance number one. Stance number two on this is that maybe you have to lose weight. Maybe you're being coerced. Maybe it's not your choice. Maybe it's too emotionally painful to not lose weight temporarily. So for example, if you need a life-saving surgery, a lot of the times doctors will say, I will not do it unless you lose weight. So say if you need gender confirmation surgery and you're a fat person, and every doctor you go to says, we will not operate on you because you are deemed too high risk, and you know that you need this surgery or you will die, then you're being coerced, right? You know that if you lose weight, it will be temporary. But you have to please those doctors who clearly don't give a shit about your health, and so you will. But also at the same time, knowing that this diet is detrimental towards your physical and mental health, that it's temporary, that it is ridiculous and it's fucked up, but you just have to do it because what's the other choice? Also, perhaps temporarily losing weight is something that will keep you safe mentally right now. Maybe the idea of being fat or not being thin is too difficult to live with, and you're looking for any bit of relief, and your fat frenemy voice is overwhelming, and the fat phobia we see in society is too much. And oh Nelly, I can totally understand that, of seeking anything for relief from that burden, that crushing shame that society tells fat bodies that they need to, and fat people that they need to feel. And so you 100% believe that this pursuit of weight loss will fail, and that you're able to be healthy minus trying to manipulate your weight, but temporarily manipulating your weight is what is best for you right now. So that's the other school of thought on that. And I feel like I've kind of softened in regards to my stance on this of, whatever, do what you want with your body. It is definitely not helpful for people who are engaging in diets to be leaders of the fat positive community. Who I'm thinking of, there's this one person who fucking gets on my tits, no end, patient advocate for fat people, uses the O words, thinks that being fat is a disease, thinks that fat people just need to learn how to eat a salad, desperately hates her own body, would do anything to become thin. That person should not be a leader in the fat positive community, because she is not fat positive. She hates fat bodies, including her own. But should she just be a person out in society living a life? Yeah, why not? Go for it. Do whatever. But should that person be influencing fat people and echoing the sentiments that fat is bad while also claiming to be fat positive? I don't think so, but unfortunately I'm not boss of the world, so I don't get to decide who gets platforms and who doesn't get platforms. Yeah. I wouldn't want that job anyway. Can you imagine? Oh God, imagine. And you're like, oh God, I didn't know that person was a secret bigot. Oh no, I fucked up again. Oh no. Yeah, so I think it's an issue when someone is buying into fat phobic beliefs and says shit like, it's okay to be fat, but my knees ache, and so I'm losing weight for health reasons. And I know these folks believe that being fat makes their knees hurt. They deep in their heart think that they are able to lose weight and that it will magically cure their knees. And that to me shows that they have a long way to go in understanding weight science and fat liberation concepts. As do we all. So, can you claim to be fat positive and also be intentionally trying to lose weight? They seem to be opposing opinions, right? Opposing beliefs. But I think there are circumstances where it's difficult. And living in the world as a fat person is really fucking difficult. It would get on my tits if I met someone who says, oh, I'm fat positive and I'm so fat positive that I don't want to be fat. I'd be like, I don't know about this. This is not sounding good to me. But what people do with their bodies is none of my business. And what people call themselves is you can call yourself anything you like. You can claim any type of label if you want to. You might see consequences from it. You might have people saying, that doesn't sound right to me. Yeah. So anyway, this post that I put yesterday, I want to share with you because someone said, oh, I've been making this mistake and I didn't realize it. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. Because sometimes I think, oh, most people that follow me are like deep in fat fatness in fat politics and the fat positive world and all that type of stuff, sometimes I think, oh, it's redundant to say certain things because everyone knows, but it's not true. It's not true. It's not true that everyone knows this and that or whatever. So this post reads, what's wrong with saying as long as you're healthy? So let me repeat. The post reads, what's wrong with saying as long as you're healthy? Underneath it says, fat people get told that it's okay to be fat only as long as you're healthy. That's fucked up. Here's why. First, it's ableist and healthist. It presumes healthy and able bodies are better than disabled and unhealthy bodies. Fat people who are healthy are just as valid, worthy, and deserving of respect as those who are healthy. Did I say that right? Fat people who are unhealthy are just as valid as those who are healthy. It presumes that fat people are inherently unhealthy. Alarming fat people can be healthy. It simplifies what health is and labels it as 100% in control of the fat person. Puts you in a position of power, judging whether fat people are allowed to exist or not. Not as long as you're healthy. Fat people are valid and worthy no matter what. So this is spurred because I'm going to the hairdresser tomorrow, and the first time I went to this hairdresser, this is my third time going to this hairdresser. The first time I went to the hairdresser, she said, what do you do for a living? I told her, and she said, oh, that's amazing, as long as you're healthy. And my brain in the moment, as brains sometimes do, said nothing, and just continued on with something else. I changed the subject because my brain wasn't in the position to say, actually, new hairdresser that I've just met, that belief is not helpful or healthy or whatever. And so, 3-4 months later, I'm writing a post about it because I'm mad. And sometimes, just an FYI, sometimes in situations, you don't always have to be educating people or setting boundaries or saying, listen, you can't say that shit, because sometimes you don't feel like it. Your brain isn't in the right place. You just want to get your hair cut and get out of there. And then, the next session, I had to set a boundary with her and say, my pronouns are they, them. And I spoke about that on the podcast before. And she said, oh, my pronouns are she, her. And at the end, she said, you're a brand new woman. And then said, no. So I wonder if she remembers. I'm going to remind her again tomorrow that my pronouns are they, them. And hopefully she remembers, and at the end says, you're a brand new person or whatever, and doesn't talk about like health, because this time I feel like I would be ready to, like one boundary at a time. This time I would be ready to say, oh, but I doubt that she would. She's probably a bit scared of me because she got my pronouns wrong, and I could tell that she was really upset that she had maybe done something to upset a client. The people who might say these things, I don't think that they're trying to be forward thinking, right? They're trying to say something encouraging and all that type of stuff, and they're not a lot of the times trying to hurt me, but they are, unfortunately, which is not good. Which sucks balls. I wonder how, in the numerous ways I'm like accidentally hurting other people. Did it hurt your feelings when I started the podcast calling you a rat bastard? A rat bastard? I didn't mean to hurt your feelings by calling you a rat bastard. You're the best rat bastard in the world, okay? Alrighty, well that is the end of our podcast today. I hope you have had the best time. As a big flock of crows flies over my window. I bet you had the best time, and thank you for hanging out with me. See you later, crocodile. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to the episode. And if you feel ready to get serious about this work and want to know when the doors open to Fierce Fatty Academy, which is my signature program where I teach all about how to overcome your fat phobic beliefs and learn to love your fat body, then go to fiercefatty.com/waitlist. Again, that is fiercefatty.com/waitlist to get your name on the waitlist for when Fierce Fatty Academy, my signature program, opens.